So it's finished. Everton 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. Back in front of the fans at Goodison Park. Disappointing game, really, from a Wolves perspective. But guys, give me your thoughts in the comment section down below. It's Dave from Talking Wolves. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe as well if you haven't already. Wolves starting slightly different team. John Ruddy starting in goal. Of course, his first Premier League start for a long time. A sort of back five return with Ryan Aït-Nouri on the left, Nelson Semedo on the right. Willy Bolly returning to the team with Connor Cody and Max Kilman, with Ruben Neves and Jean Moutinho in the middle, and then like a front three of Morgan Gibbs-White, Fabio Silva and Adama Traore. And I've got to say, I'd probably say for the first half an hour, 35 minutes, it was predominantly Wolves. We looked really decent, keeping the ball comfortably, knocking it about, and when there wasn't really an option on, we just turned back and recycled the ball, and just spells of it just reminded me of the Wolves that we've been seeing the last 2 years, really. The games, where it's a low tempo, we just want to keep possession, and Everton really didn't quite know what to do with that. And then as soon as we got Adama on the ball, we just caused them all sorts of problems. He had a really good game in terms of running at Everton, causing them issues, and he won us a lot of set pieces. I think, first half we had 8, 9, 10 set pieces, which we've got to be doing better at, really. Moutinho was really disappointed on the delivery of those. The ones that he played short to Ryan Aït-Nouri, his deliveries were disappointing. So we didn't really make the most of those, especially when you've got the big guys such as your Bolly and Bollies, and such as your Kilmans in the box. You want to be trying to take advantage of those, but it wasn't really the case. Well, one of our best opportunities in the first half really came after a corner, and it was cleared as far as Morgan Gibbs-White, who hit it quite sweetly on the volley. But, I feel we did enough, for our pretty low standards this season. That was one of the better first halves. We allowed Everton to come into it towards the sort of last 5-10 minutes of the game, and possibly, that gave them the momentum to go into the second half with. But in terms of how, our first halves this season, that was probably up there as one of the better ones. But, we couldn't get off to a much worse second half, and over a quarter of our goals conceded in the league this season have been from set pieces. That is ridiculously poor. And it's the play, again, look, I've just said, you've got Bolly, you've got Kilman there playing. You've got big players. It's not like we've got, I know against Brighton, you can sort of understand it with the height they have, but we have big players, and frustratingly, it was Bolly that missed the header to allow Richarlison to score, sort of flicked his header into the far post. No chance for John Ruddy, really. And it's just disappointing because, other than that, were there any key opportunities for Everton? I'm not saying they were poor, but, they didn't, they had half chances throughout the game, but so did Wolves. So it's disappointing to concede from a set piece once again, really. And Wolves, we kept ourselves in the game. We looked okay. It took us ages to try and get any sort of momentum back, but unfortunately, the only man that looked a threat for us throughout the whole 90 once again was Adama Traore. This was one of the games where he had it turned on, because he's been off and on all season, really. Luckily, for us as fans watching that, he was on it today, and he had a really, really good game. But it's just a shame that we need to start getting better players around him. I saw a really good comment on Twitter earlier that, we all get frustrated with his possibly lack of intelligence and lack of end product at times, but if we get more intelligent players around him and better players around him, that's going to give him more of a chance to excel, and I think we have to try and do that. Games like today, sometimes you look at those and think, yeah, that's why we've still got Adama Traore, and that's why we're looking at giving him a new contract. And, on the flip side, if you're looking to sell him, they're the sort of performances that clubs are going to look at and think, yes, he's going to be a big asset to our team. So I'm frustrated, really, that, I think he whipped in a couple of decent balls. He sacrificed a lot today. Unfortunately, it was an off game for sort of Fabio. Really struggled to sort of get involved in the game, I feel, today, really. You could say he's a lone striker. Whenever Adama played quite centrally but drifted out wide at times. And there was only ever going to be Fabio in the box, really. Against Spurs, we saw Fabio and Adama combine that little bit more, but that wasn't it today. I thought Moutinho was really poor. It's disappointing, really, about Jean Moutinho. He's been a fantastic player for us, but I think the time has probably come that in the summer, if there was a destination for him, you'd probably look to move him on. Unfortunately, I just don't think he was at the races today, and hasn't really been at the races for the majority of this season. But he was almost an ever-present last season for us in a nearly 60-game season, which at that age is ridiculous, really. And you know what disappointed me today? The fact we had on paper one of our stronger benches. I know we had 2 goalkeepers on there, but because of the under-23s played the other day, but one of our stronger benches in terms of first team players, you'd say. And Willian Jose comes on, and it was really disappointing from Jose. He had the ball a couple of times. I don't know. Nuno's got him playing as like a number 10 or something today, and he was very, very poor. Just in that small cameo, I was really disappointed. I felt, he broke down a lot of moves where he could have, created opportunities. So I don't think, he has a future at Molineux, unfortunately. But, it was a disappointing game. I know, we know our season is effectively over, but games like today and performances like today, at times, we showed why why people class us as, at times, a decent team. But then, we've got our own downfalls, such as defending set pieces, which are just ultra frustrating. You know what? I thought John Ruddy did okay in terms of what he needed to do. Made a couple of saves. Command of area was decent. Of course, I don't think he could have done much about that corner. I was surprised to see him in the team, I must say, due to his performances in recent times. But, he did what he needed to do as such. And no real disappointing performances other than the guys I've sort of mentioned there. But we still, it's clear that we lack Jimenez, Podence, Neto, because Adama Traore running the show today on his own and no one else really to back him up. And I have just finished recording, but I remembered obviously one of the key sort of parts of the game, the VAR shout for the handball in Wolves' favour. It was Adama Traore flicked the ball into the area, Traore. Apparently this is a natural position. Now from the angle that we can see, obviously it's handball clear as day. The issue I've still got with VAR is, yes, they're trying to get it in to iron out the obvious mistakes, which it has done to a degree, but it's still, at the other end, at Stockley Park, it's still another referee's opinion and decision. So, the co-commentators, the commentators on Sky Sports were adamant. Whenever I've checked on the socials, people look like they thought it was. But that, you can't say that is a natural position when a player's arm is up there pushing away from them. Disappointing that. And obviously, a big turning point in the game. Wolves have a penalty, more than likely score it. You get a point. So, yeah, really disappointing with that. A 1-0 defeat, disappointing, but great to see the fans there again, guys. I'm really looking forward to get back to Molineux on Sunday against Manchester United. Loads of content coming up for that. But, the Evertonians back at Goodison. It's great to see it across the Premier League as well. Just makes it feel a little bit like we're getting that little bit closer to normality anyway. But, yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts on a pretty disappointing evening of football for Wolves. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, I'll see you all very, very soon.